Hello and welcome here to Talk SCB and welcome back to the channel here, and today once again we are going to be discussing the future of Neymar Jr. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? We are going to be discussing all the latest updates and whether indeed he could well be off to the French capital. Now, you guys know that I came here yesterday, I did a video based on Neymar, 5 reasons why he could potentially be staying with it this summer and 5 reasons why I felt certainly he wouldn't want to leave Barcelona. Since then a lot of things have happened, a lot of reports have come out. Still, there are reports from Brazil that claim that Neymar is on his way to PSG. French reports as well are following that narrative and say that things have been very, very advanced now for a day or two and could well be finalised. He could leave and join Paris Saint-Germain. And now what sort of made me do this video, Rack 1 in Barcelona, a very, very reliable source, say that indeed negotiations between Neymar's representatives and PSG are advanced and that Barcelona now see it as a real possibility that Neymar could leave this summer and stun everyone in doing so. And basically I just want to talk to you about that. You know, possibly he could leave, and that is a big thing I feel. But I want to talk about the transfer fee, I want to talk about the implications of him leaving, what could happen, you know, if that does occur, and exactly what we can do to move beyond that. Because what I will always say is, as a club like Barcelona, the first and foremost thing we have to say is, we should never ever be in the position where we have to convince a player to either join the club, or we should never ever try to convince somebody not to go. If you don't want to be here, if you don't want to play for us, there's the door, and it's that simple. It doesn't matter who you are. If you don't want to put on the shirt, if you don't want to represent Barcelona, if you don't want to honour your contract, your pride of being here, then leave or don't bother coming in the first place. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter who he is. It's not about Neymar. It's not about the fact that I don't like him. I admire Neymar. I think he's been a fantastic player for us. If I had my way, I would certainly want to keep him. I think he's been outstanding alongside Messi and Suarez in that trident. It's known all over the world. It is a powerhouse in our front three. But if he doesn't want to be here anymore, then we will show him the door and he will leave the club. And apparently the reasoning behind him wanting to go is, number one, the massive financial reward that he will get for going to PSG. They are going to offer him world record wages to sign at PSG. And the second reason for me, which if this is true, I'm not saying it's definitely true, but if it is true, Neymar as a footballer has gone down in my estimations. He wants to go there simply to be surrounded by more Brazilian players, the likes of Dani Alves, Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, Lucas Moura, of course. They're all at PSG, and Neymar wants to join them and go with PSG's project. Now, if that is true, I would be very, very surprised, because that is not how a footballer should be acting in my mind. It's not about joining up with your friends. It's not about having a club where you're all friends. It's about being at a club, winning as many things as you can. That's what footballer is being about. This is not a time to go to parties. It's not a time to hang out with your mates in training. This is serious stuff. You know, you want to come here, you want to succeed, and you want to play well, and you want to win. That's the most important thing. And we've built a team to do that. If Neymar doesn't want to be part of it, if he wants to go and join his friends in PSG, then once again, go and do that. But as far as I'm concerned, we've done all that we can to keep Neymar. I don't think you can blame the board on this one. Yes, you know, they could have increased the release clause, but clearly when Neymar sat down to sign a new contract, this release clause was put in there for a reason. 222 million euros is a lot of money. I mean, the transfer market at the moment is crazy. You know, it's absolutely mental, some of the fees that players are going for. But at the end of the day, 222 million euros is still a hell of a lot of money. You know, it's a big transfer fee. It'll be the biggest the world has ever seen, and likely the biggest the world will see for a long time to come, at least a few years before anything like this is going to come close. Like I say, guys, it's not done, it's not confirmed, it's not necessarily going to happen, but I'm just saying, if it does happen, it's not the worst financial deal for the club. My preference, of course, as I said before, would definitely be to keep Neymar. I think he's a brilliant addition to our team. I think we would struggle to replace a player of that caliber. I think as well that a lot of people are saying, you know, Neymar is in Messi's shadow. If he moves away from Barcelona, he's got a great chance of winning the Ballon d'Or. Moving away from Barcelona is not going to give Neymar superpowers. He's not going to turn into a player that's better than Lionel Messi overnight simply by leaving the club. By leaving the club, he's actually going to take himself away from being surrounded by some of the greatest players in the world, which will impact him. He will be on his own. He will be the star of the show at PSG, but that's not everything. That doesn't mean that he's going to turn into a completely different player. We've seen him for Brazil. Yes, he does play a very, very high level when on international duty, but is he still better than Messi? The answer is no. Messi will reign for years to come, whether Neymar is at the club or whether he isn't. Leaving the club is not going to turn him into something that he's not. So I think it's important to remember as well how much Lionel Messi affects Neymar's game on the pitch, and in a positive way. A lot of Neymar's goals are assisted by Lionel Messi himself, so it's taken himself away from that. He's taken a gamble for me by joining PSG, particularly ahead of the World Cup year. If he doesn't have a good season, if he doesn't enjoy the success that he wants, it could affect him in the coming summer in Russia, which is a very, very big time for him and his country, so he's certainly taking a risk there. And like I said earlier, I would just be personally disappointed, if he leaves just because he wants to join up with a few extra Brazilians and earn a few extra euros, as simple as it is. He's paid very, very well at Barcelona. You can't complain about that. He's the second highest paid player on the Barcelona team. You can't argue with that. He's probably, the second best player, if you like, to Lionel Messi, so that's fair enough. If he wants to leave, if he doesn't feel like, that money's enough for him, once again, there's the door. So at the end of the day, we want to keep Neymar. That's absolutely clear. The club wants to keep Neymar. Us fans want to keep Neymar. We love him in the team. We admire him. But if he does want to go, if he doesn't want to be here anymore, then we're quite happy to show him the door at the end of the day. If he doesn't want to be here, he's got a release clause. If PSG want to pay it, they can go and pay it and see what happens. And I just wanted to come here today to just, see what your thoughts are. If he does go, then we'll come on here and we'll look into alternatives to Neymar. We'll look into alternatives to how we can spend the massive 220 million euros that we're going to get from that release clause. And we'll go from there. Of course, if Neymar does leave, it will be a massive wage off the wage bill, which is a constant problem for us, our wage bill. So that's going to be an interesting outlook. But like I say, the main aim for us right now is to keep Neymar. There's a lot of reports, but nothing has been confirmed. We do want to keep him. We do want him to stay with us, and I really do hope that he does. But if he doesn't, life does go on. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of Barcelona. We've certainly had players in the past who've left us and have left us in the lurch, but we've got on with it. We've got ourselves up back on our feet, and we've moved forward. We're a big club. We can attract names. We've got a lot of money to play with now if this does go through. So it's going to be interesting how we react to this, how Barcelona can come to terms with the loss of Neymar if it happens. But then again, it might not. Neymar could be here come the first game of the season, and we'll all be very, very happy with that. So I want to know your thoughts, guys. What do you think on the entire transfer, really? What do you think about the way it's being conducted? What do you think about Neymar himself, the way that he's conducted himself? I personally think Neymar has done a great job for us over the years as a player. But I would not be happy if he left in this sort of manner. It would sort of stem a bit ungrateful. We've given him everything since he came here. We've given him all his demands. We've surrounded him with the best players. He's won a lot of trophies here. I think leaving in this manner, in the middle of the window, he's gone on our pre-season tour. If he just leaves all that behind, draws a line under it, I think that's going to be a little bit disrespectful to what we've done for him. He'll leaving through the back door, if you like. I think the fans will generally be quite unhappy. Another thing as well, which did rub me up the wrong way, was the fact that apparently Neymar as well is closer to leaving. Like I said earlier about the Brazilian link, he's very, very unhappy that we haven't signed Coutinho, Lucas Lima or Paulinho. He wanted those players to join Barcelona, so he was once again surrounded by players that he could call his friends. If that is true, once again, I don't understand that. You're a professional footballer. Go out there, do your job for your team, do what you're paid to do, which is perform on the pitch. This is not a time to socialise. This is not a time to hang out with your mates. If you want to do that, do it after training. Do it after the matches. Do it on your days off. Don't do it when you've got to be at the club working hard to get the best results. So I would be very, very surprised if it is that's what happens. I would be disappointed in Neymar himself if that's the reasons why he does want to go. And I would just be very, very shocked if that is the case. And I would still be surprised if Neymar left this summer. But what I would say is a lot of sources are now reporting that Neymar could possibly be on his way out this summer to PSG. That's the case. Bartomeu recently, very, very recently in the past few hours, has come out and said the following. He said that Neymar is not for sale. He said that he does not want Neymar to leave the club, and he did go on to say that PSG, within financial fair play rules, cannot possibly pay this release clause and get away with it. That is the only thing that Bartomeu has said in terms of the reason why Neymar can't leave. He didn't say that he didn't want to go, and he didn't say that PSG couldn't sign him. He just said that due to financial fair play, he felt they couldn't do this deal. It didn't sound altogether that convincing. It didn't sound altogether that positive, but Bartomeu is ultimately resolute in saying that he doesn't want Neymar to leave and that he feels right now that he's not for sale. But of course, if PSG do pay that clause, we're not going to have an awful lot of say in the matter. It could be taken out of our hands. And who knows what's going to happen then. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. As always, I'm very, very interested what you've got to say. Yesterday I was here, I was very, very positive. I felt like Neymar would be staying at the club. Since then, a lot of sources have jumped on this story. They feel like Neymar wants to leave because of the Brazilians and PSG, because of the big wages. Like I said, if that's the case, Neymar for me goes down in my estimations. But we're going to have to wait and see what's true and what isn't, whether he stays, whether he goes. In the next few days, it will all become clear and we will be discussing things as they happen, guys. So leave your thoughts down below. I'll see you very, very soon. But until then, as always, Vesca el Barça.